What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my builds guide and refined review for Dimitri, Norne, Shadows of Valentia, Catria, and Sigrun. So Dimitri ends up getting his refined to Noble Lance, which is going to be making him a much better Lance Cavalier. So he's able to get +3 attack and guaranteed follow-up attack with this weapon, and now with this refine, he's able to get +8 to all of his stats and also true damage based on 10% of his attack stat, and then he also gets the flat damage reduction 10% of his attack as well. So this is the flat damage reduction that we have seen on Brave Dimitri before, on Azure before. So it is that, and it is going to be immune to Deadeye and Lethality. And then finally, he's going to be able to reduce the damage reduction percentage based skills of opponents by half. So it's kind of similar to the effect that we saw on Duels and that we have on Young Soren. So by using this effect, he's going to be able to function as a much better melee nuke because he's going to be cutting through the damage reduction skills by half of the opponents and getting the true damage himself. Now the flat damage reduction is going to be based on his attack and not on his defense, like Brave Dimitri gets. So it is not going to be that high of a percentage because it's only 10% and not 15 or 20%. So he's not going to be as tanky, but he's still going to be getting mileage out of the flat damage reduction, and stacking up his attack is going to be helping you do even more damage by getting the true damage based on its attack stat. So overall, he's definitely going to be functioning as a pretty unique Lance Cavalier who can cut through the damage reduction skills of the opponents and then nuke them with the true damage and his attack stat. But keep in mind that a lot of the fast units which have damage reduction skills based on speed, they also have null follow-up, and they're just going to be stopping his guaranteed follow-up attack. So if you don't really take them out in a single shot, then you're not going to be able to double them. But against a lot of the opponents who have like Dragon Wall or other kinds of damage reduction skills, you're going to be able to pierce through them and also double them pretty much with the guaranteed follow-up attack and the extra speed that you can get. So you can just bypass the follow-up negation effects if you're faster than them, and the guaranteed follow-up attack is definitely going to be helpful in the mixed phase. So if you want to build up Dimitri on a budget, then you can simply give him attack smoke and attack defense catch as the sacred seal. But if you want to invest a bit more into him, then the standard cavalry build with the attack defense catch and attack smoke 4 is going to be working out. So he already gets the guaranteed follow-up attack from his weapon, and the follow-up negation from attack smoke 4 is going to be making it so that he's going to be having the Omni Breaker effect. So it is going to be helpful in the mixed phase, and the Nia Trace skill is going to be helping you with the mobility. You can also run him with Sturdy Surge and also run him with Flow and Trace so that he can get the Trace effect while also getting the partial null follow-up in the player phase. And this is definitely more of a player phase build with the Sturdy Surge. So you're going to be able to get the flat damage reduction and then also heal up the HP with Sturdy Surge. He doesn't really have minus on special cooldown, so that's why he's not able to run Bonfire unless you run Heavy Blade on him, and then you're going to be able to trigger Bonfire in a single round of combat. But if not, then Glimmer is going to be doing the job. You can also use him at max investment with attack defense clash 4 and also guard 4. Now guard 4 is going to be definitely a pretty nice option on him because it does give him the damage reduction, and this damage reduction is actually going to be applied before the flat damage reduction. So kind of like how we see on Brave Dimitri where he has got the regular damage reduction and then flat damage reduction, this build kind of tries to mimic that, and you're only going to be getting the damage reduction on the first attack of the opponent, and you're also going to be able to get the guard effect, which is definitely pretty nice defensively. But if you don't really like guard 4 that much and you want the mobility, then you can just run the Trace skill, and attack defense clash is going to be the premium option for the slot A so that you can get the debuff neutralization to your attack and defense. Shadows of Valentia Catria gets an amazing weapon refine to her Astra Blade, which allows her to hit like an absolute truck, and now she has got more movement options. So this weapon does give her +3 attack, and if she's got more attack than foe's defense, then she can deal true damage based on 50% of her attack stat minus foe's defense. And this does count the in-combat attack and in-combat defense, so it is going to be really helpful with this weapon refine, which provides her with +8 to all of her stats in the combat, and now she's got the 2-space teleportation, similar to Spring Sonia or Young Tana if you want to take an example of a melee unit. So that is going to be opening up the movement options for her, and that is always good for a flying unit. And then finally, she's going to be able to get extra attack on herself and extra defense debuff on the foe, depending on the spaces moved by whoever initiated ×2. So this is basically like the effect of a clash skill, and this is going to be going all the way up to +8 attack on her and -8 defense on foe in the combat. So overall, this can help her hit like an absolute truck with the true damage that she can get out of this weapon, And now she's got more movement options, which is really fun with the teleportation. And this unfortunately messes up with her base kit because Bond 4 does have a bit of awkward synergy with the 2-space teleportation, and aerobatics is no longer needed with the, the teleportation that she can get. So if you're trying to invest into her, you would definitely have to invest, some fodder from Divine Codes like Sparrow 3 and Dive Bomb, and that is definitely going to be a lot better. So she's not really able to get null follow-up with her weapon, but if you're going to be facing opponents without any kind of follow-up negation, then Dive Bomb is going to be helping you just hit incredibly hard with the true damage that you can get, and Speed Defense Rain is going to be giving you the consistent debuffs. And if you want to invest a bit more into her, then Attack Speed Catch 4 and Speed Defense Near Trace are going to be the option. And she was available in the Hall of Forms, and many people did get this kind of build. So this build is going to be working out with her Weapon Refine, and the Near Trace skill is going to be giving you the Canto options. Keep in mind that when you're going to be teleporting, you're only going to be able to Canto one space, but that is going to be pretty nice still for retreating and just for positioning her. And you can also run her with Surge Sparrow and Fluent Trace, so she doesn't really have any kind of partial null follow-up in her weapon or full null follow-up. So that's why Fluent Trace is really good for its partial null follow-up in the player phase. And with Surge Sparrow, she's going to be able to get the healing out of a 2 cooldown special like Glimmer while hitting absolutely hard with that true damage. You can also use her with Attack Speed Unity because it is going to be having good synergy with the teleportation that she has got access to. So this could be run with a Form Sacred Seal, and you can also finally run her with the Clash skill, which is going to be pretty much the best slotty option for her because you're going to be able to make the use out of the Clash skill while teleporting, and she already has the Clash condition in her weapon for its Refine. So this is going to be a pretty good slotty skill, and then you can just run Fluent Trace to get the partial null follow-up in the player phase. And Speed Defense Hold or Speed Defense Rain is going to be the go-to option for your slot C. And mostly she wants to get the plus attack IV for her weapon, but if you can ascend an asset, then you can definitely go with the Speed IV. Norne gets a new weapon refine in Volunteer Bow, and she's definitely one of the more popular merge projects that many people built up. And this is overall a pretty decent weapon refine that is going to be making her as a stat ball, and then she can function with some of the defensive effects. So with Volunteer Bow, she's able to get +8 to all of her stats and inflicts -5 attack and speed debuff and neutralizes any kind of foe's buff against the range opponent. So this part of her weapon is only going to be active against the range foes, so she's definitely going to be specializing more as a range tank. And then with the weapon refine, she's able to get the guard effect on the foe and heal 7 HP after the combat. So overall, this is a decent weapon refine which can basically just double down on her playstyle, which she used to be popular with. So she could function with that and function as a range tank now. And she's mainly going to be seeing usage in Aether Raids offense when you combine her with an near save unit, or if you just try and tank the range units on a team that's like an Emblem Cav line. So there, Norne is going to be functioning with this kind of weapon at max investment. So if you already have her at plus and merge, then she can just work with her usual build with attack speed ideal 4 and null follow up in the slot B, and then you can just have pulse smoke 3 in the slot C. So all of this could be obtained from the divine codes as well as the free ephemera manuals that we have got, and she can just run Deadeye as her special. Even though her damage output is not really the highest, this is still going to be a premium special for her. And then if you want to invest into her a bit more, then you can also run attack speed Unity with attack speed Oath 4. So this is going to be having good synergy with the slot A and slot C skill. And even if you get debuffed, this is going to be helping you with the Unity effect. But definitely the attack speed finish skill is going to be the end game slot A skill for her, if you can provide that and give that to her. So like I said before, she's going to be functioning in Aether Raids offense as a ranged tank. And she could maybe be used in the light season where she could get the debuff neutralization status effect from Peony and also get the bonus doubler from someone like Legendary Elliewood. So that is going to be allowing her to function as a ranged tank with the finish skill, getting more healing out of it, getting the true damage, and then you can run Speed Smoke 4 so that she can have the dodge effect and just function much better as a tank by getting that damage reduction. If you can outsource the null follow-up to some other unit, which is a lot easier to do now with Kadean Lind, with Infantry Speed Tactic, with Infantry Null Follow-Up, then you can simply run Tempo in her slot B and have Time Pulse. So this way you can trigger Deadeye a lot more consistently and get the true damage and the effect out of the finish skill. And then you can also run her with Special Spiral 4 if you don't really want to run Deadeye on her, and you can just run a 2 cooldown special like Ruptured Sky for example, and just loop it with Special Spiral 4, getting the true damage out of it, and also piercing through the damage reduction skills of the opponent. So the Finish 4 skill and Special Spiral 4 giving her that true damage is definitely going to be helping her with the damage output, because Norne doesn't really have the highest attack stat. And Speed Smoke 4 is going to be helping you defensively with the dodge effect and with the defensive effects that she has got in her weapon refine. The final refine of this batch is going to be Sigrun. So she has got Command Lance as her preferred weapon, and this weapon refine is not the best. It really doesn't really do a lot for her, but still it is going to be a different option than Arcane Xiang basically. So with this weapon refine, she's able to get +4 to all of her stats and gets 40% damage reduction on foe's first attack. And then she can get even more stats in the combat depending on the number of allies in 3 spaces times 2 and then added by 4. So this can go all the way up to, +10 to all of her stats. And overall, she's going to be able to stat ball with this kind of weapon refine, being able to get up to +14 to all of her stats. And then finally, she's able to heal up 7 HP after the combat. So this weapon refine does not really do a whole lot for her, and I can definitely see why a lot of people are disappointed in this weapon refine. She will function in the mixed phase with the stat balling that she can do and with the damage reduction that she can get, but she definitely needs some kind of null follow-up outsourced through like, Fallen Lilith or Kadean Lind, because it's not going to be easy for her to get that null follow-up as a flying unit. And as it is being a flying unit, her options are pretty limited. So with this weapon refine, she could function with Pegasus Flight 4, which is pretty much going to be her endgame build. And if you want to build her up, then I would only suggest doing that if you already have her at Plus and Merge, and if you're going to be investing into her with some premium skills, because she will definitely need that. So you could run her with Attack Speed Catch, the Neotrace skill, and the Rain skill. Pretty standard stuff for a flying unit, and she is going to be able to just function offensively in the mixed phase with this build. But with the Pegasus Flight 4, she's going to be able to get the follow-up negation and also get the extra attack and defense debuff in the combat, which can definitely function with the stat balling that she can do with her weapon refine. So Pegasus Flight 4 is definitely going to be the endgame option here, with a distant stand skill in the slotty because she can easily tank the mages. And then Oath 4 skill is going to be helping you because Pegasus Flight 4 does take the visible, speed, and resistance into the account. So keep that in mind, and you definitely need to buff her up, and any kind of extra stats are going to be really appreciated to her because she is essentially a stat ball, so anything like that is going to be really helpful. Now she's only going to be getting the damage reduction on foe's first attack, so the follow-up negation effect from Pegasus Flight 4 is definitely going to be pretty nice, but still you can provide her the null follow-up support so that she can just double the follow-up negation units, and that is going to be really helpful, especially with a build that is a lot more speedy with Distant Dart and with Speed Smoke 4. So you're going to be able to get even more damage reduction out of Speed Smoke 4, and Distant Dart is going to be providing you the distant counter effect. And the idea is pretty much the same as the previous build with Pegasus Flight 4, but this is a lot more speedy in nature. Make sure to share this video with your friends if they're trying to build up any of these units with the new refines. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like and a comment, helps me tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks down below or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more FE videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as aerobatics on Shadows of Valentia Catria after her weapon refine. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.